All right. Hello and welcome to this episode of Boomer and Degen. I'm your host, Biz, coming at you live with Andy, co founder of Crypto Hub HQ. How's it going? How's everybody doing? Welcome to this day in crypto. Another never a dull moment. But, I'm getting my feet wet again. It's been, it took after a week of hiatus in a sense. But it's good to be back. It's good to play some trades. Although, where I got into where it is now, there's not much change, but here we are. So, Andy, how's it going? How's your day?
Good, actually. Yeah, got a couple of good trades in. I'll take you through those in a minute. Um, and lots to talk about, really. You can see that the market health short term, 15-minute, 1 hour, is definitely rising. 4 hour, not yet. 1 day, not yet. It's just going to take a bit of time for those values to get higher on the 4 hour and 1 day. So the short-term timeframes always recover first, which is the reverse of when everything's high. If the 15 minutes starts to go down and the hour starts to follow, you know that there's some kind of reversal in play. But let's go to the chart because we are definitely now back above that trend line. I said to you that I wanted to see not only us going above that trend line, but holding it, right? So this is the second day now where we're currently above it. I wouldn't be opposed to a retest of that. And before we go up, I would not be opposed to that. In fact, that would fill me with confidence. Because the problem we've got at the moment, of course, is the markets are being so heavily manipulated by certain people. So, I don't know if that manipulation is over or whether they're going to try it again. But it's just that's where we are. But more positive than before. If you look at this, you kind of get the feeling a bottom is in, don't you? Down at 77, but there's still quite a few people saying we could be going back down to 70, 72, 3, 1, down more closer to the what the fuck area. But that might not come yet. As traders, we don't care. Although I've changed my trading strategy a little bit, which I'll go through with you. When the market is, when you're at the beck and call of manipulation, then I think you should adjust your trading strategy a little bit. So I've done that today. I've been testing different strategies in this market, and I seem to have found one that works quite well. But anyway, that's that. Let's go on to our little friends first before we start getting into some trades and to talk about what you were talking about with XRP. This just keeps going down. And what's interesting actually is if you go to the day chart, Bitcoin is up 2% on the day.
Yeah.
But the altcoins are only up 1.74. It's usually the other way around, right? Bitcoin goes up 2, they go up 5.
Yeah.
So the alts are definitely lagging, which kind of goes in line with why these are not rising fantastic, a lot in the higher time frames. So the alts are lagging Bitcoin. I don't know if that's to do with the fact that everybody realizes there's a lot of manipulation going on, and the alts are kind of doing their own thing. We can have a look at that. But the fear and greed has gone up from where it was yesterday at 25 up to 30, but still in fear. But we are edging up. The stock market's still extreme fear. I believe Trump today. I believe Trump today has.
Yeah, give us the news. Give us the juice. Because I haven't heard much. Aside from like the trade wars, and then obviously China coming out of the back from being quiet over the last week to now saying let's bring it on.
China only said let's bring it on.
They don't care what war though. I'm just joking.
Yeah, they issued a tweet that said, "Be it a trade war, any type of war, we're up for it. If you want a war, any kind of war, with us, we're up for it," is what they sent the message out.
Yeah.
You know, but the other thing that Trump did today, tariffs are great, they're smashing, fantastic. You know, one day in, of course, you know, it was saying on his speech 24 hours ago, the car manufacturers are going to love it. You know, they're all going to love it. He's taken away the car part tariffs for another month because actually Ford and people like that were going, "What are you doing?" Right? It's like, "What are you doing?" Now, if I was Canada or anywhere like that, I'd say, "Well, you can remove those tariffs if you want, but we're not removing ours," because all he said is, "I'm going to remove them for another month." You
Hey,
can't keep toying with
what?
countries like that. You
Yeah.
can't.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not very Canadian like.
No, you've got the same problem that the British have. The British are very kind of calm, and you know when we do go to war, we go to war, right? But it takes a lot to get us to that point, and the Canadians are kind of too nice, right? Um, so I think the countries need to start saying to him, "We're going to keep all our tariffs until you stop all tariffs completely and get rid of all this nonsense and uncertainty." I don't think they should go ahead and remove the same tariffs. I don't. I know there are political factors in play, which is why Trump's done it. But anyway, that's where we are. We're still in extreme fear
Yeah.
because who damn well knows what's going to happen next, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I'm going to come on to the Bitcoin Reserve meeting today, which again I have something to say about.
Yeah.
But
Oh, by the way, everyone's going high or over or under. You know, are we going to hit 100K or not?
who's asking that?
It's just the current wager is set to do we see
Oh yeah,
this
right.
crypto
Okay.
summit being net positive, or do we think it's priced in?
I personally think it's priced in. You
Well,
might get some people try and manipulate the market as if it isn't, pump it
well,
up, dump it
I
back
don't like the
down to where
fact that
it
it's
should
at
be.
the top of that trend line now again.
Well, it's above the trend line,
Well, the
but
downtrend, it's right at that downtrend right now.
well, yeah. Oh, sorry. If you want your little downtrend line here, you mean?
Oh,
Um,
it's just about.
yeah, yeah. Well, yes. I mean, the so the question is it going to go to 100K? I wouldn't care. The issue is it going to stay above 100K?
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, that's, I think, what people should be asking, or probably are asking, which is, are we now heading back up in a bull market? And we just don't know. I think there is potential for more downside before upside. Whether we get upside first, then downside, I do not know. But we'll have to wait and see. But I'm not sure this meeting today is going to. It's not as though they're going to have signed an agreement, is it? But I mean, let's come on. Let's get to that because I have an article to do with that, which we're going to go through. You know, yesterday I said to you, is it just me or is it the Americans that constantly dump
Yeah,
the price?
yeah, yeah. I think you
Right.
mentioned about you running some or you'd have the data, but you'd it wouldn't be too hard for you to spin something up to see what you can
Yeah.
come up with, or what the
I did
data
it.
would come up with.
I did it. I did it. So over the last 100 and I can't remember how many days it is. I did it on the 4 hour chart. I went back and asked, looking at the session times of Asia, of London, and of the United States, New York, right, which
Yeah.
is what the open and close times of those. What was the average price movement of Bitcoin during those times, right? And the answer is this. So, being
Oh,
British, all I can say to you is, you're
it's
welcome.
yeah. Oh, I was gonna say it's your fault.
No, it's not our fault.
You guys
It's
were pumping the markets.
yeah, we're pumping it. Yeah, probably. I say, old chap, let's ramp it up so the Yanks can drop it back down. Um, you know, um, but yeah, so Asia a little bit, London time. There's probably crossover here, right,
Mhm.
between the markets, right?
Yeah,
There will be crossover, right? But on average, over all of that time period, the American New York market time was bringing it down nearly 2%.
Mhm.
You could shorten that range. You could do it, say, like do it over the last week, do it over the last, whatever. But to see if that changes. But
So,
that is. I told you I was going to write the code to do it, and that's the code to do it.
so currently, as it stands right now, what time is it in London?
The time in London right now is 20 past 6 in the morning.
Okay, so in a few more hours is when the trading session opens up.
Yeah. But again, maybe they take it up because it was the Americans had tanked it overnight, so they're getting cheaper. Do you know what I mean? I don't know whether that's going to persist. It may. Now I've got this query, I can run it anytime. So, and I can run it over a different period of time. I can say,
Mhm.
okay, let's just take it back to, say, I don't know, from the last. This is the day from, say, here to, I don't know, over the last 50, 40 days, 20 days,
Yeah.
I could just change the number and it would work over the last N days. But I'm taking it back, way back over here somewhere,
Mm.
when I did it for that chart that you saw. And that was so that's including the big rise, right? Which is what maybe London was involved in, more than anything else. So now let's move on to some more news. I've now got that query. I can keep running it periodically. If it changes, I will mention it on the stream.
Sweet, sweet.
So now let's move on to this crypto summit. And this is who's attending the White House Crypto Summit on March the 7th.
Justin Sun, our sunshine boy.
Well, hang on a minute. Anyway, some alerts just gone off. Okay. Many of these you would expect. Michael Saylor, right? Don't know David Bailey, Bitcoin Magazine, co-founder of Paradigm, CEO of Exodus. There's one of these people on here I have a massive problem with. See if you can guess which one that is.
Well, I mean, the guy from Robin Hood.
Nope.
Okay, well then.
I'll give you a clue. He's in this column.
Okay.
And he's the sixth one down in that column.
What? You don't? Oh, Trump linked World Liberty. This guy, Zach Witkoff.
Give me a break. So they are trying to do a Bitcoin reserve. This is about America, the United States of America, and a Trump-owned company is helping. Like, I mean, what? Talk about insider trading information and stuff, right?
Well, the
I mean
Ripple
that.
CEO is going to be there.
I mean, it's just. I find that absolutely outrageous. It's interesting that who's unconfirmed. Buterin, Kathy Wood, right? The guy from Circle, Tether, Charles Hodgkin. I thought Hodgkinson was going to be there,
Yeah,
but
but until they started calling him out on the ADA pump,
oh really?
he's like, "Oh yeah,
Oh,
well, I didn't know anything about the about ADA being part of the reserves."
yeah, right. Yeah, right. So White House people totally okay with. I don't. The only person I have a problem with is this. I don't have a problem with him as a person. I have a problem with the fact that they're going to be trying to push forward things that will benefit Trump.
Oh, but is it not meant for America though?
For the
I mean,
benefit of the United States of
yeah.
America, yes. Not for the benefit of a Trump-owned company.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? There should be an exception where the president of the United States clearly has a conflict of interests. Anyway. I just looked at that and I laughed and I was like, "What world are we living in?" But anyway, that's
Tell
what's
me.
taking place tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. Let me go on to some next news. NASDAQ files for proposal to list and trade shares of Grayscale's HBAR.
Okay.
Yeah, now we were talking about off stream, I think, about HBAR, right?
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is
yeah.
Hashgraph. Hashgraph is a very fast It's a great system.
NASDAQ files the proposal.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
that could be very interesting, right? Um, let's see what comes from that because HBAR I think has a good future. It 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 might fail because everybody gets behind Bitcoin and blockchain and Ethereum and all of that kind of stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
But HBAR uses a different tech, so I don't know. But in any event, I just thought that was interesting that Nasdaq, and oddly enough, when I come back to here, Nasdaq. I've got them on. Nasdaq has gone up a little bit. I've got the Dow Jones on here now actually. So see that's the Dow Jones dropped down 6%. It's currently at 4.5% down. Again, uncertainty. This fear that we've got in the markets there, right?
Well, the Dow Jones is the tech, isn't it? Or no? That's NASDAQ.
I can't keep up with them all. I'll let you find out about that. Let's quickly have a look at our friend here. We have much less wrecked over the last 24 hours, only 284 million. More shorts than longs because Bitcoin is having this little rise, right? And if you go to others, that's had a little rise as well. So, you know, interestingly, USDT dominance is down a bit. One would expect that. Bitcoin's going up, people are trading. That's fairly okay. The BTC dominance is kind of staying where it is. Not much movement yet. It's gone back up a bit, but today it's flat so far. But yeah, so that's the kind of news for today, Biz.
Yeah.
And the market today. But so let's move on to some stuff. I think I had an alert in Solvi. Oh yes, so Solvi is constantly coming in as going its own way. I had a trade in it this morning, and so I was telling you about the fact that I have changed my trading style in this uncertain market.
Yeah.
So I've actually dropped my leverage level. So I've been testing today at 5x rather than anything higher for now, and which allows you to have a much bigger stop.
Yeah.
Right? You can have a much bigger stop. Now, obviously, your returns are not as high, but actually the returns are secondary to what your risk is. Right? So if you can manage your risk, then that's much better. So I had a trade in that. The trade of the day, I'm interested to see where this is now because I was stopped out. Oh, yeah, there you go. Move. 11%, I raised my stop. It got stopped out. Very happy that worked out very, very well. And then I had a trade in Cato, similar thing. Now that's retraced completely. I was stopped out somewhere up here. But what I did today was, I've mentioned before that when you trade, if you want to be a trader and you want to earn your living as a trader, what you should really do is make a detailed spreadsheet of your entire life and what your costs are. And then break that down. I think there's two things, right? How much you need to live, like all your bills, everything paid for, your essentials, right? Your food, right? Things like that, right? Mortgage, loan, whatever you've got in your life, right? You calculate that, and then you say, okay, as a trader, I'm going to work 5 days a week. You've got an annual outgoing. You can then divide that by that many days, like it's 5 days a week, it's 200 and God knows how many days a year. So you can divide that and say, well, that's what I need to earn per day to cover my costs. If I doubled that, now I've got a standard of living as well. I can afford to go to restaurants. I can afford to buy new clothes. I can afford to do whatever, right? So what I did today is I just knocked this up really fast. So imagine you were starting with $500 and you were trying to go for a 5% return. Now, I say trading day here. This is 1 to 30. It doesn't mean you trade 7 days a week, but you can, right? But it's just your first, second, third, fourth, fifth trading day, whenever that is. If you can start with 500 and earn $25 in profit, you've achieved that 5%, right, on day one. Now I know that's less. Let's say that you work out your costs. I'm going to just make up numbers. Let's say your costs are 50, and you to get a standard of living in it's 100, right? Um, so you've still got a job now, and you've got $500, and you on the trading day you get 25. That goes back into the next day. By the end of 30 days of trading, you would have $2,161 if you hit that target every day, right? If you hit it. Now, I'm assuming some days in crypto you're going to earn more than that, and there are some days you're going to take a hit. So this is a fairly, you can, if you want to double that number there, you could, right? But I would say start conservatively, right? Because now, oddly enough, I used this today in my trades. I said, okay, I've got say let's got $500. I'm going to do 2 trades at once or 3 trades at once. So that means I've got to put only so much in. And from those trades that I took today at 5x, I actually earned $56 in profit. That's what I actually did. So I thought I'm gonna do this as well as just talk about it, right? So automatically, if I put that figure back, so 2,161, but if I put that in, that's already got an extra $120 because that goes, you put that in extra each day, right? So if the next day you do another, say, $56, you're just adding to your money all the time. Now, it could be that some days you go less, but if you have a simple trading plan like this, once you achieve your target, like once you say, well, I've done my $25, I've done that, you can actually stop trading for the day, right? What's the point of making yourself overtired? All right, things like that. The other good thing about using less leverage is, and this is where I'm going to come on to what you were telling me about with XRP. It's much less stressful, right? So if I go to, where was the one where I did, okay, better one. So when this trade started today, and now you said you took a trade in XRP and then you went out, right? I never take a trade if I have to go out, right? However, this morning I had 2 trades. I had Cato going and Solv going at the same time. Now, I can't remember which one it was. One of them was already into a profit, and I'd moved my stop into a profit, say there, right? But my other one, Solv, was a bit slower off the mark, so I couldn't move my profit that quick. I didn't go out until that profit was wherever it was, up there, something like that, right? So I knew, even while I was out, if that turned against me, which it did, by the way, I went out to buy coffee and then I got a ding and it had hit my stop. I still went out in a profit, even though a slightly smaller one. And then, as you can see, it's kind of retraced all the way back to my original entry anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And that's because Bitcoin is going up, but then it's dropping. Right. So, that would be my advice to you, Biz. Don't take a trade. What's the point? Because you're sat looking at your phone while you're out, or you're thinking about it while you're out.
Yeah.
Once you raise your stop, then you can go out. Once your stop is in a profit, you can go out. You can stop looking at it. You can have 2, 3, or 4 trades, and that comes back to this, which is you could take 5 trades at $100. 1 might go against you, 4 might be good. So whatever losses you have in 1 will be more than made up for in the other 4, right? Depending on your risk, you could split it into 2 250s. You could do 2 200s and a 150. 2 100s and 100. Are you with me? Things like that, right? I would never go all in on 1 trade. Never, because you want to counter any losses with the profits you're getting in the other ones. So that's a kind of like a simple way.
And it's conservative at 5%.
Right. So
like
that's why
ultra conservative.
Yeah, but that's why I've written this little spreadsheet, because you can change that to 10%, right? Also, by the way, let's say I put in $56 there, which is actually more than 10%, isn't it? Right? If I keep doing that, right, for the rest of the time, I can say, well, actually 10% is achievable. Because you know it based on the actual facts you're putting in there. Do you know what I mean? You know
Yep.
it. You're not making it up. Um, so just whoops. Hang on a sec. I've not saved this little spreadsheet yet. I should do that actually. But you could knock this up in 5 minutes, and then you can have a journal that's like a big journal of every trade. And you should look back over your trades, particularly if you get a losing trade and it goes against you, and say, "Why is that?" You
Mhm.
know, you should always learn from your losses. Because if you're lucky, like with move today, you know, just lucky, right? It just shot up. Now that's not every time, is it? Sometimes trades can take hours to play
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But what I don't do is leave until I've got at least a profit, allowing for slippage as well, that I won't take a loss once I take my eyes away from it. But once that's fine, I don't care. Just let it run now, right? Let it run. I do have a profit target in there as well, and if it hits it, like if I, if move, I put a bigger one in because it seemed to be coming into our alerts. But I raised my stop, and eventually I thought, I don't care now if it retraces and shoots up another 20%. I don't care. Trade
Mhm.
done, job done. Are you with
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. So yeah, so that's the market biz. We are, looking better than before. Is
That's what matters. Yeah. Yeah.
You're not going to
Cool.
get any more from me than that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see
Right.
what tomorrow brings. I think it's tomorrow morning, Eastern Standard Time. So that should be nice and early on the West Coast for us. You'll probably be asleep when the news comes out. Yeah.
No, it's the sixth here today for me, so it'll be tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Oh,
Maybe
oops.
when I'm sleeping tomorrow night. You mean?
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true. Oh,
yeah.
wow. They're really drumming this thing up way more than it should be ahead of schedule.
What in where? Where are you
Well,
reading
I
this?
mean, in general, I mean that's the narrative right now. I mean, if you go, Paul Barron even talked about it.
Uh,
You know Paul
you know,
Barron? Paul
no,
Barron.
no, yeah, but people need a narrative to make content, don't they?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Oh, that.
and I try and look through all of that. Incoming massive surge by the end of March. You need to watch this video. Right, yawn, yawn. It's but people they get followers that way, right? If that's the job of pushing it, clickbait is
Unfortunately,
everything.
it is. It's the ultimate hack.
It is. It's the way of the world, right? And people believe it. People believe it. Anyway, from my point of view, there's a lot of trades to be had at the moment, right? A lot of trades because if you go to the short term here, Bitcoin is going up, down a bit, up, down a bit, up, down a bit, up, down a bit. Now that might turn around later in the day where it's down, up a bit, down, up a bit, down, up a bit. But right now, you can say, well, okay, what's going its own way? What's rising faster and falling less? Carver, I took that out of my trades, but Carver, let's have a look at that again, because that was being traded the other day. Oh yeah,
Ooh,
look at that,
yeah.
look at that, great, right? That's going back in my alerts. So that's rising more, falling less.
Less.
So when Bitcoin goes up and down, it will rise more than Bitcoin, and when Bitcoin goes down, it will fall less than Bitcoin. Now you have to remember that pattern might change
Yeah,
at some
yeah.
right.
It's
So it's
relative
only
for this moment.
it's now. It's
Yeah,
right
now.
now,
Yeah.
right? So that's why it's definitely for traders. Also, if you're in a trade, then you're kind of saying, well, this is the kind of if you were already in Carver, you'd go, oh great, it's still rising fast and falling less. Like it might encourage you to raise your stop and stay in the trade rather than taking the profit, right? So or not raising your stop so violently to give it that chance to fall less, right? So because we've all been stopped out from time to time where we raise our stop too quickly,
Yeah.
uh, and then it retraces and then shoots up. We've all
Yep.
we've all done
Yep.
that. But I still say profit is profit. Who cares, right? Who cares? So there are lots of coins that you can trade. I'm just going to look at the long ones rather than the short ones. OG I've not looked at for a long time. That's because I was when I was trading it on Binance, I think. OG. Have I got them switched off? Oh, there you go. That's why it's got that fair value gap there. But that might be something if you do trade them. Oh, that's been a long time since I've looked at that, right?
Yeah.
But again, if you look at it long term, it had an absolutely ginormous pump of 400%, and then just not completely retraced, but it's on its way. Again, though, on the way down, you've got like 48% up, you've got 30 odd percent down. So if you want to trade the volatility, you can, right? You can. But I tend to stick with ones that I've traded, if I've traded them a lot and they come in again, I'm like, oh yes, I'll go back to that coin.
Yeah, easy to pick up where you left off, so to speak, because you already kind of have that.
If you know the kind of volatility in the coin, I think every coin has a slightly different relationship with Bitcoin, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it can change. So it's like a wave like this. So you get to understand when Bitcoin falls how much that's going to fall. And these alerts are very good at just telling you, well, actually, Carver right now is falling less when Bitcoin falls. Great. That's what I needed to know because I've gone long in that, right? So yeah, that's it, Biz. That's the market for today.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. That is all that we have for today. We'll be back again tomorrow. If you guys haven't done so already, give us a follow on Crypto Hub HQ. You can also join the server too. If you're also trading in this market, let us know. We want to know what you're trading. Also, if you got like a strategy that's working for you, let us know. We're curious to know what you're trading or how you're trading in this market. All right, guys. Join our server if you hadn't, and if you let us know that you're following us, we'll get you all the tips and alerts, all for free. Just let us know that you're following us on Twitter. All right, guys. Take care. Have a good one. Stay safe out there. Peace out.
Happy trading, everyone. See you tomorrow.